Ready? Check it out. Halos and headlights and high beams. Well, you can't really tell those very much, but they're all working. I don't have my turn signals in yet, but those will be coming soon. Also, if I turn this on and let's go ahead and start it. Have a tax signal. So you guys probably couldn't hear anything I was saying during that, but we have a tax signal now that works pretty good. Thanks to the guys at Dakota Digital and Premier Power Welder for helping me figure out how to hook that up and make it work. Also, what I was showing you guys over here is the Premier Power Welder control box is all hooked up, ready to go. This knob is here so you can bring the idle of the vehicle up, or the RPMs up, to get your desired welding voltage, because it's volts, not amps like a normal welder, so it's a little different, but these do weld pretty nicely, and the 110 volt outlet is working as well. So maybe in the future we'll do a little video on welding with that thing. But yeah, so there's a lot of little work has been getting done. So a lot of like detail type work is getting done. It's not the most exciting stuff in the world. So that's why it's not really, I don't know how many people would really want to watch somebody do a bunch of wiring. So I haven't been showing much of that stuff. But today we're going to work on finishing up some stuff in the back of the Bronco here with the fuel system. I got my fuel cell mounted. It's all done. It's plumbed. I'm waiting for a fitting to come for the vent tube, or the rollover vent, which I'll probably just run a line up the side of the intake tube or the filler deck. But as you can see, I've got this, and this is kind of a dumb thing to be excited about, but I'm excited about this cap, this Cobra style filler cap. I think it's super cool. I think it's awesome on here the way I have it mounted. So I gotta modify the filler neck on the fuel cell. I gotta modify this plate here, or make a new one, probably more likely, and have an elbow that comes up and matches this. This is 2-inch. This is only like 1 3/4 inches here, so I'm gonna make a bigger filler anyway. Hopefully it should go fairly smoothly. Cut a new piece of plate, aluminum. So one thing I need to do here before I get started on this is I need to measure, or get at least a rough idea of the angle of this filler neck. So I've got this angle finder gauge here, and if I put it down and kind of try to line it up, it lines up pretty close. I'm trying to look at it through the camera, so my eyes are going crazy. I think that's gonna be close enough, because if I pull it back, it'll match the tube a little bit. And that comes out to, it looks like 28 degrees on there. So I was thinking about making this new filler neck out of aluminum. Unfortunately, I don't have any 2-inch aluminum tubing laying around. And I think I'm just gonna make this a little easier. I'm just gonna modify this filler head, neck, cap, whatever you wanna call it. I'm just gonna take a piece of 2-inch steel tubing. I'm gonna cut the angle I need on it, and then I'll weld it to this after I cut this part out. I'm actually gonna try and save this little bung here. I can keep my nice threaded aluminum cap. And then, because once I cut this at an angle, it won't be just a round hole, it'll be an oval shape, so then I can mark out the new hole, get that cut, get it cleaned up and welded. It's all welded up, cleaned up, and ready for some paint. I kind of got lucky because I wasn't thinking until I was done with one side of the weld that I should be concerned about warping this plate, but it doesn't look like it warped too much. It may be a little bit. It is rocking on my table just a little, but it's kind of hard to tell if that's my table or the plate. I may not be able to put a bolt or a nut on that stud right there. It's kind of like the 4 9-inch issue there. I'm going to see if I can pull the stud out of the fuel cell or the bolt and see if I can put a shorter one in there. If I can just put maybe even a short like jam nut on that, it's better than nothing. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but I'd like to put a nut on there if I can. So we'll throw some paint on this and then we'll investigate that stud in the fuel tank. All right, filler neck is all installed. I think it looks pretty good. I'm very pleased with the way that came out. You'll notice there is no nut on that. I don't know if you guys can see it out on that bolt right there, that stud. I need to go find a fine thread jam nut, just a real thin nut. I think it'll be fine. Hopefully I can get on without having to take this big hose off, but everything looks really good. I'm super pleased. I'm actually super excited about this. I think it's kind of silly, but I like this thing. I've always liked the way they look. I think it looks pretty killer on there. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of Fabrication 101. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next time on Fabrication 101, we will be tackling, boom, a tailgate. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this thing yet. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Fabrication 101 this time. I know it's maybe a little bit shorter video, but I'm kind of running out of fabrication stuff to do on this project, but I still want to get it done. So we're just going to kind of pick away at it till it's all, well, not completed, but at least ready to get out of the door, because it's getting hot out here in Arizona in the afternoons, even in the mornings, and I don't want to be working on any projects outside. So I want to be able to move this thing outside, so that if I have another project or something else I want to work on, I can work on it in here in the shop, in the at least a little bit cooler air than what's outside. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys in the next episode of Fabrication 101. If you're liking this video, if you want to know more about this Bronco, check out some of these other videos up here. In the meantime, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and go build something.